Alec David Parker is charged with causing criminal damage at the International Tire Company factory in Fulchester. Parker, at the time of the offence, was assistant chief chemist in the works laboratory. The cost of the damage was £20,000, and output was disrupted for 3 weeks. The first prosecution witness has been called.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Garfield Lawrence of 23 Mayfield Avenue, Fulchester.
Yes.
And you are the technical manager at the International Tire Company in Fulchester.
Yes.
Were you at work within the factory on May the 27th last?
I was.
Will you tell the court what happened that day?
Yes. There was a strike on. An official union strike of all the workers in the factory. Production was threatened, and the works management decided to call on the managerial staff to help clear up the uncured stock.
Yes. Clear the uncured stock. Could you explain to the court what that means?
Yes, it meant vulcanising rubber tyres by putting them into a machine, and they come out with a tread on them.
Yes. A skilled job?
Semi-skilled. One the staff could do without danger or problem.
Yes, I see. Now, why were the workers on strike?
Well, our company was in the process of merging with the Seine-et-Oise Tire Company of France. The workers were against it because they thought their jobs would be endangered.
So there was a very real feeling, a strong concern behind this strike.
Indeed.
And did all the managerial staff turn up to help clear up the uncured stock?
No. He didn't.
The defendant?
Yes, he refused.
Would you tell the court the events leading up to his refusal?
Yes. The previous day, I'd put a notice on the notice board on behalf of the staff. The works manager, the production manager, and the chief chemist were in France talking technicalities with the French company. I assumed authority, and this notice was asking for staff backing my request.
Would it be a fair summary to say that the blue-collar workers were on strike and that the white-collar workers had been asked to perform some of their tasks? Would that be right?
Oh, yes, my lord. Workers, of course, saw it as strike-breaking.
Yes, Mr. Lawrence, we'll come to that. What happened next?
Well, at 2 o'clock on May the 26th, I put the notice on the staff notice board asking for staff to help out the following day. At 2:15, Parker came to see me, the defendant. He said he wanted to be excused work in the factory. He said his father was one of the strikers, and he wouldn't be seen dead. Those were his words. He wouldn't be seen dead breaking his own father's strike.
What did his father do in the factory?
He was a labourer in the giant shop.
A labourer in the what shop?
The giant shop is where the giant tyres are made. They're all made by hand, too big to be mass-produced.
Extraordinary.
So the defendant came to ask your permission to be excused from working the factory, giving his father as an excuse. And what was your reaction to this request?
Well, I refused, naturally.
Why did you refuse?
Well, obviously, Parker was employed by the management. He was a superannuated professional man trying to behave like a trade unionist. It wasn't his job to back a strike against his own company. Even the union wouldn't expect that of him.
Yes, and did you give your reasons and express your feelings to the defendant?
Yes, I certainly did. I told him he'd no business to be in the job if he was in, if he felt like that. I said he should be on the shop floor if he wanted to back the strike.
Back the strike?
Yes. Well, that's what it amounted to, wasn't it? Yes. Either he was with the management or he was against them. Well, that's what I thought, and I told him so.
And what was the defendant's reaction to that?
Well, he got rather stroppy. He wouldn't go away. Kept arguing.
What were his arguments?
Arguments? More like abuse. He said I was thick, insensitive, called me a hypocrite. Said I was enjoying power while the bosses were away. I told him everything he said would be reported to the works manager when he got back. It got quite political in the end, with me calling him a revolutionary, and he said I was Lord Newcastle, whoever he was.
So the outcome of this meeting on May the 27th was what?
Well, I told him to report to the shop floor by 9:30 the next day. I gave him a chance.
Yes. And did the defendant report to the shop floor by 9:30 the next morning?
No, he went straight to his laboratory as usual. 10 o'clock, I went up to see him. He told me to bugger off. Those were his words. He said he got important work to do, and, well, he ignored me almost.
I see. What was the work that he was doing?
Trying to produce a compound for a super-adherent tread pattern for radials.
Yes, well, I'm sure the jury won't understand that. I don't.
Well, it meant he was trying to make a tyre which would never skid under either wet or dry conditions.
I see.
And what was the outcome of this confrontation, Mr. Lawrence?
Well, I told him he'd better accompany me the next day to see the works manager when he got back. He said if the works manager wanted to see him, he'd send for him. He said he wasn't a schoolboy to be taken to see the head by some snotty-nosed prefect. I remember those words.
On either of the two occasions when you confronted him, was there any talk of his reaction to the strike or the strikers?
Yes. He said it was for everybody's good, including my own, if I did but know it. He said, and these were the very words, "Serve you right if they blew the place up."
Serve you right if they blew the place up. What place do you think he meant?
Well, he meant the factory.
I see. And the final outcome?
Well, I was giving him chances. I gave him till 2 o'clock, time to think about it. I was so angry I banged the door and broke the glass.
An explosive confrontation.
It seemed to me that he got some sort of deep-seated bitterness, not aimed
You
just
must
against
confine
me.
your answers to what you saw or heard. We are not interested in your speculations.
Now, did the defendant do as you asked? Report to the shop floor at 2 o'clock?
Oh, he never had the chance. At 1:20, I received a phone call from Mr. Smedley, a member of my staff. He was desperate. He said that the Banbury was overheating.
The Banbury?
It's a machine that mixes the ingredients to make rubber compound. It's a huge machine.
Yes, we'll come to that in a moment. Now, you received this warning phone call from Mr. Smedley, and then what did you do?
Well, I dashed down to the mixing shop floor and I climbed the ladder to try and save the machine, but I was too late. The machine broke down.
Yes. My lord, I would like Mr. Lawrence to demonstrate the function of the machine with the use of the diagram.
Very well. Mr. Lawrence, you may leave the witness box.
As simply as you can, Mr. Lawrence, there is a pointer there.
Well, it's like a huge concrete mixer. The rubber ingredients go in at the top, there, and they're mixed and ground together at a high temperature inside this chamber, here. The end product, in the form of rubber sheets, comes out at the bottom, here.
Yes. Now then, how is the temperature controlled inside the chamber?
By a water jacket round the chamber. The water flows around the outside of the machine, rather like water around a car engine. The function is the same, to absorb heat and take it away to be cooled. Now, the water is driven by this water pump, here. Now, if that fails, the temperature inside the chamber will rise and continue to rise until the machine is switched off or the pump is got going again.
Yes. Mr. Lawrence, would you look at Exhibit 1, please? Now, what is this?
Well, this is the actual valve of the machine in question.
Yes. Will you show how it works?
Yes. The blue handle here is, of course, turned by hand. Now, if it is turned as you would turn the central heating tap on a radiator at home, then the flow of water from the pump to the machine is cut off. Yes. Just a minute. Sorry, I was turning this the wrong way. On this handle, you turn clockwise from, which is contrary to most pumps of this sort.
Nevertheless, it is a very simple, easy action to perform.
Oh, yes, indeed, yes.
Now, you said you tried to save the machine. What did you do?
Well, I noticed that the temperature gauge here was registering above 200 degrees centigrade. Now, I thought I'd got time to climb the ladder up to the platform, which is about 10 feet above the factory floor. And when I got there to check it, I found there was nothing I could do. This handle was missing.
And without the handle, the pump could neither be turned on nor off.
Oh, well, now, beneath here, there's a hexagonal nut. Now, if I'd had a spanner, I could have turned this and I could have got the water flowing again. But there was no spanner handy. Within 2 minutes, the machine ground to a halt. Bearings had melted into the shafts inside the chamber.
Thank you. But would you return to the witness box now? So, now, in fact, what you're saying is that when you got to the machine, the pump was already turned off.
Yes.
Yes.
And had been deliberately turned off.
Now, how did you know that?
Well, that machine is never switched off for weeks on end.
Yes.
And the pump and the machine have both been functioning normally all morning.
How long would it take between the pump being turned off and the machine breaking down?
10 minutes, 12 at the outside. Somebody must have turned off that pump between 1:15 and 17 minutes past 1. I can be as precise as that.
Now, you said the blue handle was missing. Where was it found?
Well, I found it half an hour later lying on the factory floor under the machine. Somebody must have hidden it there. I know that because it could not have fallen through a crack in the platform to rest in that position.
Yes. Might not a blockage in the water jacket surrounding the chamber have caused the temperature in the chamber to rise?
No. We stripped the machine down. We could find no blockage. Anyway, as I've told you, the pump had been turned off.
And was there any other reason you could suggest that it had been done deliberately apart from the fact that the machine was normally kept running day and night?
To get to that machine, you have to climb a ladder, walk along a platform, bend down, turn the handle or the hexagonal nut 6 complete turns. It can't be done by accident. Also, it was in the lunch break when all the staff were in the canteen, except for 2 people. Mr. Smedley was one, the other was Parker.
May I put this to you as an expert in the field? What, in your opinion, would be the most simple and effective way of sabotaging the machine?
By doing what happened. Turning off the pump with the handle and then throwing it away.
Yes. Now, presumably you took steps to discover the cause of the breakdown, find out who, in fact, had turned off the machine.
Yes, I summoned the staff to a meeting at 1:30 at the end of the lunch break on the mixing shop floor. Then I noticed that Parker was missing. I telephoned the laboratory. He was there. I ordered him to come down to the mixing shop. And he came, which I thought was rather strange considering his earlier refusal. Very suspicious.
My lord, I really cannot agree to this.
Yes, Miss Gillespie. Mr. Lawrence, you must not tell us of your own conclusions and beliefs. I've warned you before.
I do apologise.
Yes. Now, the defendant came down to the mixing shop, and then?
Well, I asked him where he'd been during the lunch break. He said nowhere. I knew he was lying because I'd seen him go out to his car at 1:45. I could see him from my office window. Then I noticed a grease stain on his jacket sleeve. It was his left arm.
You noticed what?
A grease stain, my lord. He was wearing a lightish-coloured jacket. The grease stain was plainly visible.
Would you look at Exhibit 2?
Yes, this is the jacket that Parker was wearing at the time.
Yes, would you show the court where the grease stain was?
Just here.
Yes. And now, my lord, there will be expert evidence that the grease found on this jacket and that present on the same day on the exterior of the water pump were identical. You say you saw the defendant go to his car at 1:45.
Yes, I could see into the car park, the staff car park.
What did you see the defendant do?
Well, he went to his car, he opened the boot, and he took something out, put it in his pocket, and then came back to the lab building.
This was before you had been informed of the machine overheating.
Yes, half an hour before. No, 3/4 of an hour before. Afterwards, I put 2 and 2 together, and I worked out that he'd gone to the car to fetch the spanner and bring it back in case he'd needed it.
My lord, this is more conjecture.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Hockland, all we want to know is what the witness observed.
Indeed, my lord. Would you tell the court what happened after you'd interrogated the staff in the mixing shop?
Yes, I sent them back to their jobs. Then I collected the chief security officer, Mr. Charles. Together we went up to the laboratory and we asked Parker to accompany us to his car. First he refused. When we got there, I asked him to open the car boot. He did so, and inside was one object, an adjustable spanner.
Would you look at Exhibit 3? Do you recognize the spanner?
Yes, this is the spanner that I saw inside Parker's car boot. The red mark here identifies it. Time it was covered in grease. In front of the security officer, I told Parker what I thought, that he had sabotaged the Banbury.
What was the accused's reaction to that accusation?
Well, he said he'd sue me for slander. I said I wasn't worried about that. I said he couldn't sue me for making a statement of fact.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Would you please wait there?
Well, Mr. Lawrence, you've described the background to the strike and you've painted a picture of an awkward man, almost an enemy of the firm which employed him.
Yeah, I didn't say he was an enemy.
No, because he wasn't. How many years had my client been employed by International Tires?
I'm not sure.
It was 18, wasn't it? My client had been employed by International Tires since the age of 17.
Yes.
I'd hardly imagine that had he behaved as you described, he would have stayed in the firm for 18 days. Would you describe his attitude as completely hostile?
Not completely, no.
No. You've exaggerated his attitude because you don't like him.
No.
My client has given over half his life to the company, has he not?
Yes.
Then why should he suddenly decide to sabotage it? Well, now, Mr. Lawrence, let's examine one or two things that you've said, shall we? Do you remember the exact wording of the notice that you pinned to the board in the staff room on May the 26th?
Not the exact wording, no.
Do you recognise this? Is that the notice which you signed and placed on the board on May the 26th last?
Yes, it is.
Or would you read it to the court, please?
Members of the staff are requested to help combat the effects of the current strike by assisting in the clearing up of uncured stock as from tomorrow morning, May the 27th. Please report to the undersigned at 9 a.m.
You requested, not ordered, didn't you, Mr. Lawrence?
Well, it amounts to the same thing, just a way of putting it.
Oh, you really think so? The fact is, Mr. Lawrence, that you refused to entertain my client's very reasonable request that he be excused duty on the shop floor. Is that not so?
Well, I didn't think it was a reasonable request.
Mr. Gillespie, I fail to see the relevance of this line of questioning.
My lord, it's my intention to show that the witness was hostile to my client for a number of reasons. Indeed, sufficiently hostile for him to blame the damage to the machine onto my client while knowing him to be innocent.
Very well.
Mr. Lawrence, I suggest that my client's potential contribution to labouring on the factory floor was minimal. So why did you insist that he obeyed you?
Well, it was the principle,
Well, the
wasn't
principle. Or was it the fact that having issued an order, you felt that your authority might be undermined by his refusal to obey that order?
it? Everybody worked, except Parker.
Don't you mean everybody obeyed you except Parker? The works manager and his deputy were away, weren't they? I presume you've never experienced so much power before.
I did what I thought was best for the factory.
Well, then, why were a Mr. Shawcross and a Mr. Meredith excused from working on the factory floor? They were both members of staff.
Well, as I remember, Mr. Shawcross had a heart condition and Mr. Meredith a bad back.
Now, at one time, you were engaged on the same research as my client, is that right?
Oh, yes, I started it.
Oh, you started it.
As a hypothesis. Later I developed the theory which Mr. Parker tried to prove in practice.
Would you say my client deserves most of the credit for the discovery?
Well, of course, it's still not developed, not yet proved, but in fairness, I think that the credit, most of it, belongs to me.
And, of course, it'll be a considerable achievement if a completely non-skid tyre is produced.
Oh, yes, save millions of lives eventually, of course.
And you wouldn't have wanted my client to have taken that credit, would you, Mr. Lawrence? When you were promoted from chief chemist to technical manager, you asked the works manager for more time to continue your research, didn't you? And he refused. That made you resentful, didn't it?
Well, it's true that I asked, yes, but I understood. I wasn't resentful.
Very noble of you, Mr. Lawrence. Now, would you look at this magazine? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's entitled Journal of the Rubber Industry. Am I correct?
Yes.
Would you turn to page 30 and look at the correspondence columns? There's a letter marked in red ink.
This is a technical magazine, not an agony column.
Exactly, Mr. Lawrence. Correspondence of concern to rubber technologists, who are the only people that matter to researchers in the rubber industry.
I wrote this purely to establish the truth.
Precisely. Would you read it to the court?
I developed the theory that a super-adherent tread compound could be produced that would double the friction coefficient. And Mr. Parker ably assisted me in the latter stages of this work.
And Mr. Parker ably assisted me in the latter stages of this work.
Yes, this would be Exhibit 5.
Now, Mr. Lawrence, it's right, isn't it, that on May the 26th last, my client was near a breakthrough in his research?
I don't know what you mean.
Mr. Lawrence, will you please tell the court the extent of your conflict with my client? Well, you were extremely jealous, were you not? Sufficiently jealous and sufficiently outraged by my client's abuse of your authority that when the Banbury machine broke down, you seized the chance to blame him for it.
Oh, ridiculous. All the evidence pointed to him. Who else could it have been?
I suggest that you could have done it.
No.
Possibly also someone else. 2 other parties. Now, let's take Mr. Smedley, shall we?
Oh, this is slanderous.
Mr. Lawrence, let me put a hypothesis to you. Mr. Smedley was a member of staff not totally familiar with the workings of the mixing shop floor, am I right?
Yes.
And yet here he was in charge of costly machinery. Well, perhaps there was a blockage in the water cooling system. Temperature gauge started to rise. He panicked. He tried to turn the water on, thinking somehow that somebody had turned it off. However, as you demonstrated just now, on this machine, turning the tap anti-clockwise, to which we're all accustomed, turned the water off, didn't it? You came along, too late to save the machine, and to protect Mr. Smedley, you hid the handle and blamed my client. Is that not so, Mr. Lawrence?
Fantastic, ludicrous.
Now tell me, is it possible to collect grease on one's clothing in any other part of the factory besides the mixing shop floor?
Well, of course it is.
And can we assume that inside that very large factory there might be more than one spanner?
Yes.
A spanner that might also become smeared with grease?
Possibly.
Well, then would you please tell the court why you were so suspicious of my client when you found the spanner in the boot of his car?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it?
Why? Why should my client have taken a spanner along with him when we've heard that the handle had never been missing before? Surely he would have expected to use that.
Well, I've said, to make certain he over-tightened the hexagonal nut. I'd need a spanner for that, wouldn't he?
Oh, come now, Mr. Lawrence. You were the man who found the missing handle. You were the only one that saw him go to his car. Were there any witnesses who heard when he said, "Serve you right if they blow the place up"?
No, I've told you we were alone.
And who was it, Mr. Lawrence, on his own testimony, who was so angered and frustrated that he damaged property at International Tires?
Sorry, I don't see...
Didn't you break the glass in the door of my client's laboratory, Mr. Lawrence?
The case of the Queen against Parker will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Alec David Parker, an assistant chief chemist at the International Tires factory, is charged with causing criminal damage to factory machinery. Garfield Lawrence, the factory technical manager, has given evidence that Parker had refused to join other members of the managerial staff in performing some labouring tasks to help out during a strike of factory manual workers. Parker had offered as an excuse the fact that his own father was on strike. Counsel for the defence has shown that there was some animosity between Parker and Lawrence, arising mainly from Lawrence's claim that he originated the important research work on which Parker was engaged. A forensics expert is giving evidence.
Exhibit 2, Mr. Glover. Would you look at it, please? It's the jacket you examined in the forensic laboratory.
Yes,
What was the purpose of your examination?
to take a smear of grease from the sleeve.
Is
The left.
Yes, the left. Yes, the left, yes. And then?
I ran tests to discover what type of grease it was.
Yes, I see. And what was your finding?
It was a multigrade all-purpose lubricant manufactured by the STX company and sold under the brand name of STX 140.
Yes. Well, you look at Exhibit 1, the water pump valve. Now, is that the valve mechanism you also examined?
Yes.
What did you find there, Mr. Glover?
I took a trace of grease from under the handle here, tested it, and found it to be the same as that on the jacket, STX 140.
Now, Exhibit 3. That's the adjustable spanner. Is that the spanner you looked at?
Yes, and I took a smear from it, tested it, and found that that too had been manufactured under the brand name of STX 140.
So, in fact, all 3 exhibits were smeared with the same grease.
Identically.
And were there any traces of any other kind of grease you found, apart from STX 140?
No, only the STX 140 brand.
Thank you, Mr. Glover. Would you wait there, please?
Mr. Glover, I presume this particular lubricant is in widespread use domestically as well as in industry?
Oh, yes.
I mean, for example, one could find it on a lawnmower or a bicycle.
Yes. I use it on my car.
Now, did you take steps to discover if other parts of the factory, parts of machinery and so on, parts that one could easily brush up against, were also covered in traces of this grease?
Yes, it's part of our elimination technique in cases like this. And there were quite a few.
Thank you, Mr. Glover.
My lord, that concludes the case for the prosecution.
Thank you, Mr. Glover.
I call Alec David Parker.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Alec David Parker of 16 Main Drive, Fairfield, Fulchester?
Yes.
And you're assistant chief chemist at the International Tire Company Works in Fulchester?
Until I was suspended for this trial, yes.
How long have you been employed there?
All my working life, since I was 17.
And you're now how old?
35.
18 years. Was it your first and only job?
I went there straight from school.
And you were reasonably settled there, is that true? Mr. Parker, what was your attitude to the firm which employed you?
Well, if I'm to be honest, I can't say that I like industry, but well, as far as jobs go, I suppose I was settled, yes.
And what was your attitude to your research work?
Well, that I liked. And I was really getting somewhere with that. It was meaningful. I was going to save a lot of lives.
Well, we've heard evidence that your research, if it was successful, would save millions of lives.
If it saved one life, it would be worth it.
And that was important to you?
Lives or research?
Your research, Mr. Parker.
I was obsessed by it.
To what extent, Mr. Parker, in relation to your job at International Tires?
Well, if you mean would I stay on there because of it, yes, I would. And if you mean I'd be mad to destroy expensive machinery when I was on the point of an important breakthrough in my research, yes, you'll be right.
Yes. Now, on May the 26th, did you go to see Mr. Lawrence, the factory technical manager?
Yes.
Would you tell the court what happened?
Well, I told him my father was on strike, and so could I be excused from labouring on the shop floor because of it? Right away, he started calling me Mr. Trotsky. Because what he really wanted was to keep me away from my research, because he was aiming to take over as chief chemist of both factories after the merger. And then he'd take back my research, so he was obviously keen to prevent any possibility of a breakthrough. That's why he wanted me to labour on the shop floor, and that's why I kept on refusing. I knew
my lord.
Mr. Parker, you must confine your answers to what you and Mr. Lawrence said to each other.
Well, in fact, Mr. Parker, you've answered my next question. Why did you refuse to work on the factory floor? You see, we've heard in some previous evidence that your refusal led to a political argument.
Yes, well, he would say that. Anything to get rid of me. He knows that no one would believe I'd smash a Banbury machine just to spite him, so he calls it political sabotage. They might just possibly believe
My
that.
lord, I really must object if the witness is going...
Mr. Hartland, yes. Now, this speech-making must stop. Just answer this simple question. What happened during your first confrontation with Mr. Lawrence?
Well, what usually happens when two people lose their tempers? We went round and round in circles. He kept raving on about my being a communist, and I kept on accusing him of wanting to stop my research.
Did you say to him, serve you right if they blew the place up?
No, I didn't.
Did you say to him, serve you right if they blew the place up on any subsequent occasion?
Yes, I did. Now, I told my solicitor I hadn't, but I wasn't being honest. I did say it.
Well, Mr. Parker, it's a relief to know that you're being completely frank on oath. Did you mean it when you said serve you right if they blew the place up?
It was an emotional reaction. I didn't mean that I'd want it to happen or that I would do it.
Yes. Now, on the following day, May the 27th, did Mr. Lawrence come to your laboratory at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
Could you tell the court what happened on that occasion?
Well, he went for me straight away, shouting, why wasn't I on the shop floor? He made no mention on this occasion about my being a communist. And instead, he accused me of wanting to finish my research and get the credit, so that after the merger, I'd be promoted above his head. Well, I thought he'd gone mad, because he got hold of a test tube and he was squeezing it in his hand until it broke. And he just stared at it. I mean, his hand was pouring with blood, and he just stood there looking at it. And then he suddenly got angry again, and he went out and slammed the door, and well, that's when the pane of glass fell out.
Did Mr. Lawrence make any further request?
What, about my going on the shop floor? Oh, yes. Yes, I said I would have done so by now, but for his attitude, but because he'd implied that he wanted to stop my research, I wasn't going to. Then he said I'd have to accompany him the following day to see the works manager. Well, I said I'd be seeing the works manager in any case to complain about his attitude, Lawrence's. Well, that's when he went out and slammed the door.
Now, did you stay in your laboratory the rest of the morning?
Yes.
Now, the lunch break, I think I'm right in saying, is between 12:30 and 1:30. Is that correct?
Yes.
And where were you during that period?
I was in the laboratory all the time.
Did you go out at all? Did you leave the laboratory for any reason between 12:30 and 1:15?
I went to the toilet. I can't remember what time.
Where is the toilet situated?
In the same building, just along the corridor.
But you didn't leave the building at any time during the lunch break?
No.
If you had gone to the mixing shop, which way would you have gone?
Out of the lab building, across a driveway, round the giant shop, down another driveway, then round the back of the mixing shop and in through a side door.
Would that take you in view of the staff offices?
Yes.
How long would you be in the open during that walk?
2 or 3 minutes.
Is there any other way you could have gone without being seen?
No, that's the only way, well, unless you want to take a longer route, which takes you past the front of the main administration building.
Did you go to your car at any time between 12:30 and 1 o'clock?
No, I didn't.
Before 1:15?
No.
Now, evidence has been given that some grease was found on the sleeve of the coat that you were wearing that day. How do you account for that?
Well, when I went down to the mixing shop at 1:30, Mr. Smedley told me that the handle of the water pump was missing, and I had a look round for it. I assume I could have got the grease on my jacket at that time.
Was this before or after Mr. Lawrence had questioned you?
Before.
I see. Do you remember what you were carrying in the boot of your car that day?
Yes, an adjustable spanner.
Is that all?
Well, the boot lid, the lock on the boot of my car is broken, so I keep all the tools inside the car. But on the way to work that morning, the mounting bracket of the exhaust pipe had come adrift, and I used the spanner to fix it back on again. Well, in fact, that's when I could have got the grease on my sleeve and on the spanner. I was in a hurry, and I just flung the spanner in the boot.
You gave us your initial reason for not wanting to work on the shop floor, the fact that your father was on strike. Is that true?
Yes.
Now, did you discuss with your father your intention of not working on the shop floor after your discussion with Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
What was your father's reaction?
Well, he said I was leery.
Larry.
Daft.
Ah, I see.
Is that all he said?
Well, he was concerned about me jeopardizing my career, obviously. He'd only had a couple of months before he retired.
So why did you persist in not working?
Well, I told you. Lawrence wanted to stop my research.
Mr. Parker, did you damage machinery at International Tires on May the 27th?
Anyone who would do that would have to be insane, and I'm certainly not insane. No, I didn't.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Would you wait there, please?
Mr. Parker, in your testimony, you made a remark I found very interesting. You said, I can't say I like industry. What did you mean by that?
Well, it's not what you're suggesting.
I'm not suggesting anything, Mr. Parker. I'm asking you what you meant by the statement.
Well, I meant that the nature of industry is impersonal, and I like to be personally involved.
As with your research?
Yes.
With which you were obsessed. Well, you did say you were obsessed with your research, did you not?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I believe obsession is defined as a complete concentration on one subject to the exclusion of everything else. This was to be a great thing, wasn't it? The invention of a non-skid tire, saving countless numbers of lives.
Yes.
Yes. go to great lengths to achieve something like that, wouldn't you, Mr. Parker? Take us through your movements that day, would you, Mr. Parker?
I've told you I was in the laboratory.
Yes. So you say, have you any witnesses who could corroborate that? No. Now, all the rest of the staff were working inside the factory, weren't they? So, when you say that your route to the mixing shop would have taken you in front of the staff office windows, I can't quite see what construction you're placing on that. Perhaps you could enlighten us, Mr. Parker.
Someone could have been inside.
The staff offices? But I thought all members of the staff were working inside the factory.
Well, not all. The female staff, for example.
Ah, yeah. And at lunchtime, say at 1:15, the time when somebody turned off the water supply to the Banbury machine.
I was in the laboratory, all through the lunch break.
But with everyone inside the canteen, it was possible to cross into the mixing shop without being seen. Yes?
Well, you find someone who saw me.
Well, I'm sure you took great care that nobody did see you, Mr. Parker. After your 18 years at the factory, you would have a detailed knowledge of layout of plant and machinery, wouldn't you?
Obviously.
And in your research into a new rubber compound, you'd use the Banbury machine on numerous occasions.
Yes?
Of course, you'd have a detailed knowledge of the layout of the Banbury machine.
Yes.
If you were to find the machine overheating, you wouldn't have to make a desperate phone call, would you? You'd know what to do.
Yes, I would switch off the machine's electrical supply. Mr. Lawrence didn't do that, and I wonder why.
Well, perhaps he thought it was a temporary blockage and not something totally catastrophic. Now, the fact is, Mr. Parker, with the blue-collar workers on strike and the white-collar workers that work in the factory, or at least having lunch in the canteen, you had every opportunity to go into the mixing shop and turn off the water supply, and that is, in fact, what you did, isn't it?
No, I didn't. And what about Mr. Smedley? He was there. He didn't go to lunch.
How did you know that, Mr. Parker?
Well, he told me he hadn't. He said so.
And how long would it take you to enter the mixing shop, turn off the water supply, and leave? 1 minute, 2 minutes?
I've no idea. I've never done it.
Would it surprise you to know that it could be done in 50 seconds?
I have no idea.
When the machine's working, there's a fair amount of noise inside the shop, isn't there?
Yes.
And where would Mr. Smedley have been at 1:15 on May the 27th?
Now, you seem to know. You tell me.
Hadn't he volunteered to spend his lunchtime in the mixing shop?
He may have done. I don't know.
What would his job entail? Walking about? Or sitting in the foreman's office at the end, his view partially obscured by the Banbury machine?
I have no idea where he was.
Nevertheless, it is possible for somebody to enter the mixing shop, climb the ladder, walk along the plank, turn off the water pump, and leave, all in the space of 50 seconds flat. Do you agree with that?
Possibly, maybe, but I didn't do it.
One thing that puzzles me, Mr. Parker, why did you go down to the mixing shop at 1:30 on May the 27th?
Well, I had a phone call asking me to go down.
Yes. Who spoke to you on the telephone?
Mr. Lawrence?
What did he say? Do you remember?
Yes, he said, come down, something's gone wrong with the Banbury.
Is that all?
Yes.
I see, and you obeyed him.
Well, he sounded desperate.
No, please answer my question. You obeyed him, did you not?
But only because it sounded bad.
Forgive me, Mr. Parker, but you gave evidence earlier that he pleaded desperately for your presence in the mixing shop, and you refused in no uncertain terms. Is that not so?
He sounded panic-stricken. There was no ordering.
Come down. Something's gone wrong with the Banbury. That's what he said, and from that you deduced there was some great crisis?
He seemed to be asking for my help, and that was different.
Really? But he'd asked for your help before in labouring, and you refused, so why go now?
Appealing to me instead of treating me like dirt.
Well, you seem to have drawn a lot of conclusions from that very brief phone call, Mr. Parker. I suggest to you that you went down to the mixing shop because you knew what you would find. You knew you wouldn't be asked to help with labouring because you knew the machine was destroyed, wasn't it? And how did you know that? Did Mr. Lawrence tell you that the machine was out of action?
No, but he sounded as if it might be.
So you envisaged the possibility of being asked to help out in the mixing shop, something you'd earlier rejected out of hand.
No, I didn't get that impression.
I suggest to you, Mr. Parker, that you knew the scene that would greet you when you went into the mixing shop, knew the situation would be such that you would be asked to do no help on the labouring side at all. And that's why you trotted down there without a murmur, isn't it?
No.
Well, now, this isn't the only aspect of your evidence that intrigues me. There's another. What were you wearing on that day when you went down to the mixing shop at 1:30?
Wearing? Well, clothes, I should imagine.
Were you wearing a jacket or overalls or what?
Well, I suppose I was wearing my laboratory coat.
Describe it.
White coat, commonly worn by scientists and technicians.
Did it have long sleeves?
Yes.
Yes. And you suppose you were wearing it?
Well, I may have been, I can't be sure.
If you leave your laboratory for any reason, do you normally leave it on or take it off?
I can't answer yes or no, it varies.
Yes, but of course if you were expecting to mess about with machinery or handle dirty materials, you'd leave it on, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes. And here you are, saying you expected to go down and help with the bandbitter machine, so you'd wear it. Well, obviously, wouldn't you?
I said I suppose I was.
Then will you please explain to me how grease came to be found on your own jacket underneath the white laboratory coat you were wearing?
I said I expect I got it underneath the car on the way to work.
Yes, but you wouldn't have got it inside the mixing shop, would you, if you were wearing your coat, your white protective coat?
No, I don't suppose I would.
I suggest, Mr. Parker, that this story of your repairing your car on the way to work that morning is a lie.
Well, again, I ask you to prove that.
I suggest that in order to be less conspicuous when you slipped into the mixing shop that day, you took off your white coat, and in so doing, you smeared your jacket on the surface of the bandbitter machine.
The forensics expert said that grease is commonly used on motor cars.
You seized on that evidence, didn't you? Seized on it and concocted a lie based on that evidence.
Well, that's for the jury to decide, isn't it?
Oh, yes, Mr. Parker. They will decide. Have you anyone who can corroborate your story of your car breaking down so conveniently on that morning? We may conclude that you haven't. Are you suggesting to this court that on your way to work that morning you lay down underneath your car wearing your jacket?
Yes.
Whereabouts underneath your car had the silencer come loose?
Rear centre.
Rear centre. Your car is a Saab, is it not?
Yes.
I thought all working parts on a Saab, rear of the engine, running cables and shafts and so on, were insulated from the weather by an overall sheet of metal. Is that not right?
Not even so, grease could have got anywhere from anything, couldn't it?
Identical traces of grease were found on the jacket sleeve, the spanner in the boot of your car, and on the handle of the bandbitter machine. We have expert testimony to this effect.
Yes, and he also said that it was a general multigrade that could be used on almost anything.
Are you right or left-handed, Mr. Parker?
Left-handed.
And grease was found on the left-hand sleeve of your jacket. Did your hand slip, or rather, did the spanner slip as you tightened the hexagonal nut so that no one would be able to turn the water supply on after you'd thrown away the handle?
I didn't turn any pump on or off. I was in the laboratory all through the lunch break.
I suggest to you that your spanner slipped or you were careless because you were in a hurry and your sleeve came into contact with a film of grease on the surface of the water pump.
I didn't go near the mixing shop at any time.
Curious how there was just one object in the boot of your car, wasn't it? One hexagonal, one adjustable spanner. It would have to be adjustable, wouldn't it? Because although you were very well acquainted with the bandbitter machine, you wouldn't know the precise size of the nut. You'd have to take along with you a spanner that was adjustable.
I took nothing along because I didn't go in.
Well, now, let's examine motive, shall we? Which I find equally interesting. You say the reason for not wanting to labor in the factory was the fact that your father was on strike. Is that correct?
Yes.
What motivated you to defend your father in this way? We have heard, after all, that he had only 2 months before retirement.
Principle.
A principle, a touch of idealism?
You could say that, yes.
I'd prefer you to say it, Mr. Parker. You are an idealist, are you not?
I have certain principles.
Principles so strong that you would interfere with your own interests?
If I say yes, you'll say even to the extent of damaging expensive machinery and risking your career.
Well put, Mr. Parker, well put. Yes, you may answer your own questions.
I didn't go near the mixing shop because he drove me to it. My father was just an excuse. I was only making a point in the first instance. If he had shown any sympathy at all, I'd have gone in. But I'd have been able to tell my mates that I had at least made a stand.
Your mates?
Friends.
You said mates. I don't want to be supercilious about this, but mates is usually a term used by manual workers, isn't it?
So what are you trying to prove? That I was a manual worker?
No, merely that your friends were manual workers.
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, of course not wrong, of course. But significant to this case. When you said, serve you right if they blew the place up, could you have been referring to your mates?
I wasn't referring to anybody. It was just something I said on the spur of the moment.
Yes, it was explained, an emotional reaction. You are emotional, Mr. Parker, aren't you? You are emotional and an idealist.
I've worked for International for 18 years. I know more or less everybody in the factory. I more or less started as a tea boy. So I would certainly still have mates who worked on the factory floor, wouldn't I? I belong to a social club. I play darts with them. I live near them. My father lives near me, and my brother's a plumber. So what are you trying to suggest? All right, yes. I believed in the strike because I thought the merger was going to cost a lot of men their jobs. And in any case, I felt I had to make a gesture on behalf of my father. The fact that Lawrence drove me to it doesn't mean that I wanted to blow up the factory. And as I thought the strike was going to prevent the merger in any case, there was no point in my sabotaging machinery, was there?
Amongst your friends, were there any that you would refer to as explicitly militant?
They were all militant. They were all on strike.
I mean extremely militant.
Well, you always get the odd one or two.
They're usually driven by fiercely held political motives, are they not?
Because I said I had principles, you're now going to make me suggest that I'm a militant.
Mr. Parker, just answer the questions that are put to you and nothing more. Do you understand?
Yes.
We've had some fascinating statements from you, Mr. Parker. You don't like industry. You believed in the strike. Serve you right if they blew the place up. Mr. Lawrence tried to make it look like political sabotage. Are you a militant revolutionary, Mr. Parker?
No, I'm not.
Well, then, perhaps you look at this. Something you wrote, I believe. Will you read out the title?
The case of the Queen against Parker will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court.
Please read out the title, Mr. Parker.
Alec Parker is charged with destroying machinery at the tire works where he is employed as assistant chief chemist. Parker had refused to help managerial staff perform labouring duties while the factory workforce was on strike. He gave us his excuse that his own father was on strike. The counsel for the prosecution is suggesting that Parker is a militant revolutionary.
Mr. Parker.
Who gave you this?
I asked you to read out the title.
Mr. Parker, you are not serving your own interests by failing to answer the question.
It's called Leftwards. It was published 15 years ago.
Would you turn to page 14, would you? The magazine is the official publication of an international student organization, is it not?
Yes, and it folded up 10 years ago. It's no longer in existence.
Did you write the article on page 14?
Yes, when I was 20.
Could you read out the passage marked in red ink?
Marches and demonstrations can achieve little. The Wall Street tycoons are not moved one jot by gangs of straggling students and left-wing MPs rambling to Aldermaston. It is big business which thrives on the nuclear stockpile, and unless direct action is taken against the war industry, then all the shouting and marching in the world will achieve nothing.
You wrote those words?
Yes, 15 years ago when I was a student. I was 20.
Yes. And unless direct action is taken, militant words.
That was
Would you
to stop...
agree?
That was to stop the spread of nuclear weapons. It was to save lives.
Like your research at International Tires. You said it was meaningful. You didn't like industry, but your research would save lives. As idealistic today as yesterday. Would you agree with that?
They weren't revolutionaries who wanted to stop nuclear war. They were bishops and poets, actors, all sorts of people.
Yes, they marched and they demonstrated. They were content, for the most part, to act within the normal, legal framework of our democracy. But you were not. You called for direct action. Now, what did you mean by that?
Stopping supplies reaching firms.
Is that all? What about industrial sabotage? Would that fall under the category of direct action?
I said nothing about industrial sabotage. And look, it was 15 years ago. I was a student. I hadn't long left school.
Are you trying to tell us that you've changed your mind since then? When, after all, the evidence of your own mouth is clear that your idealism and your emotional attitudes are the same now as they were then?
But I wasn't a revolutionary. I was deeply concerned about the future of life, not politics.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagined, I'm sure too the jury imagined, that the situation at International Tires was not political, but it was about men's jobs, their lives. The two responses to the two situations are the same, are they not? Let me put this to you, Mr. Parker. You're a man of principle, a man of genuine concern for your fellow human beings, but equally, you are prepared to go to extreme lengths, aren't you, to bring about an objective. Am I not right?
If I had a genuine concern for my fellow human beings, I wouldn't put them out of work by sabotaging the heart of the factory, would I?
But they weren't working. They were on strike.
The machine was out of operation for 3 weeks. The strike lasted 1 week. 2,000 men were laid off for a fortnight, including my own father. I wouldn't have done that.
I suggest that in your emotional state you weren't thinking about the future. You were considering only preventing the merger of your factory with another. Is that not the case?
No.
Am I right in believing that the merger of this factory of yours with another would make another European monopoly?
Monopoly? There's no monopoly. There's Dunlop Pirelli, there's Michelin.
Yes, but as a left-wing radical, you would be opposed to that, wouldn't you? An international merger of big business.
Only insofar as it affected jobs at the works.
And your research. It affected your research.
Not as far as I know.
I see. Well, having examined one motive, let's turn to another, shall we? You said that you refused to work, to labour, that is, in the factory, because Mr. Lawrence wanted to stop your research. Is that correct?
Yes.
I asked you earlier, and I'd like to ask you again. Your research meant a great deal to you, didn't it?
Yes.
If not everything. Well, you implied that your research kept you going. You didn't like industry, but it kept you going. Is that not correct?
Because I was being honest when I said that, you're now trying to imply that I'm a fanatic.
Mr. Parker, just answer the question that is put to you. Do not anticipate the next question. Do you understand?
Yes.
Mr. Hockland.
Mr. Parker, I suggest your research was vital to your sense of purpose at International Tires, that you needed that breakthrough so badly that you would go to considerable lengths to keep in that laboratory. Is that not so?
It wasn't vital. It just made the difference between work being interesting and boring.
Come now, under examination by my friend here, you said you're obsessed with your research. Is that not so?
Well, not that obsessed. I wouldn't destroy machinery just to keep in the laboratory. Particularly not a machine that was vital to my own research. I'd be mad to do that, wouldn't I?
Perhaps not mad, Mr. Parker, but maybe emotional. You were emotionally very, very prejudiced against authority in the shape of Mr. Lawrence, were you not?
I'm a rubber technologist, not a lunatic.
Not a lunatic, no, but an idealist whose logic would persuade him that the way to save the body of his research was to stop a merger by direct action.
Well, that may sound logical to you, but it doesn't to me.
Perhaps not logical if you were driven by one motive, but perhaps by two.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about.
Shortly, I shall suggest a third.
Mr. Hockland, the witness has said that he was a student at the time he wrote that article in the magazine. And yet he informs us that he's been employed by International Tires since the age of 17. Perhaps he could explain that.
Yes, I was released for 3 years by the company when I was 18 to study rubber technology at the London Polytechnic. And International financed me while I was there.
Yes, I see.
See, and that's another reason why I wouldn't want to sabotage the firm. I was very grateful to them for that.
But not grateful to obey a management call to help clear up uncured stock.
All right, yes, I believe they were wrong. And what I did in supporting the strike, I considered to be in everybody's interests.
But all bigots and militants think that they're right and everyone else is wrong.
I said everybody's interests.
Did you say to Mr. Lawrence that he was a throwback to Lord Newcastle?
I may have done, yes.
Lord Newcastle was quite reactionary, wasn't he? You must have been very upset to make such an accusation.
Upset, yes, by Lawrence's attitude.
I suggest, because of your emotional state, you were sufficiently upset to revert to your original philosophy of direct action.
The first I knew of any damage was when Lawrence phoned me at 1:30.
Tell me, Mr. Parker, did your militancy perhaps arise from a sense of guilt?
Guilt?
Yes, guilt, son of a labourer, still rooted in your working-class origins, refusing to take on the trappings of a middle-class professional existence. It all points to a sense of guilt, doesn't it?
Is there anything wrong in not being a snob?
This is nothing quite so trivial as fear of snobbery, is it?
You're trying to make it sound like it.
Oh, no. I put it to you that it was your sense of idealism, your deep-seated sense of social justice that compelled you to act in the way that you did.
No!
The strike perhaps brought these feelings to a head. There you were, marooned from your mates, stranded on the management side. You had to make a stand, didn't you?
Yes, but not to blow up the bloody factory!
I won't have that sort of language. Now, do you understand?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So I suggest that since your research was the only thing that kept you going, kept your interest at work, and because it was in keeping with your humanitarian principles, you would do anything to safeguard it. Furthermore, you had an added incentive to reinforce you, to save jobs and stop the progress of international capitalism. Was this not the case?
No.
Mr. Parker, it was true that a merger between your factory and the French firm would endanger your research.
Not necessarily.
But you said that Mr. Lawrence was trying to stop your research being completed so that when the merger took place, he could take over as the chief chemist of the two merged companies.
At the time, I may have thought that, but all I was interested in was just getting on with my job. Lawrence only made me more determined.
18 years you spent in that factory. 18 years of unsatisfying work.
Well, I never said that.
You said you didn't like industry. You were bored, then suddenly a breakthrough on hand, a breakthrough that would save countless number of lives. This would justify your whole existence. You'd do anything to justify that, wouldn't you?
No.
You say you belong to a social club. What club was that?
Fairfield Sports and Social Club.
The members are primarily manual workers.
Yes.
You play darts with them, mix with them.
I've said so, haven't I?
Yes, you did. I suppose your position in that club would have been untenable, in your own eyes, if not in theirs. These men would have turned round and said, there this man is, with his principles about social justice, but his father's on strike and he helps to break it. Is that not the case?
You suggest a great deal, but you don't seem to prove very much.
Equally, when the works manager returned from France, you'd have to face him, wouldn't you, if you refused to labour? Possibly the sack. That would have endangered your research completely, wouldn't it?
The works manager has a great deal more understanding than Lawrence.
All right, but there was the possibility, wasn't there, of disciplinary action. You'll admit that. You were between the devil and the deep blue sea, weren't you? So you took the line of least resistance. You damaged the Banbury machine in order to avoid confrontation with your mates and the management. Is that not so?
No.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are John Henry Parker of 3 Lower Church Street, Fairfield, Fulchester.
Yes,
And you're the father of the accused?
yes,
And until recently you worked as a semi-skilled labourer at International Tires.
yes.
Mr. Parker, will you tell the court what took place on the evening of May the 26th last? Did your son visit you at your house?
Yes,
And
yes.
What did you talk about?
He said he'd been asked to clear up the uncured stock by the management on the shop floor, you see.
Do go on.
He said he didn't want to.
I see. Did he give a reason for this?
He said I was on strike, his dad, and that was it.
Is that all? What did you say?
What did I say?
Mr. Parker.
I said he mustn't.
Why?
Why? Ask me why, I'm his dad. I wasn't going to see him ruin himself.
What was his reaction?
He said
Mr.
not
Parker,
to worry.
what did he say?
He said not to worry. It was only for one day.
Did he say why it was for only one day?
Make a stand. On principle. Something like that. He'd stay out just one day. I said he'd get the sack. I said, what was all these 18 years for? Passing exams. He said he wouldn't get the sack. I said if I'd had his education, I wouldn't do anything as daft. 42 years I've bent me back over them giants, straining and sweating me guts out. I made sure he wouldn't have to.
Mr. Parker, were you still on strike the next day, May the 27th?
No, I went to work.
This is May the 27th?
Yes.
Mr. Parker, I think the court's been under the impression that you were still on strike that day. Could you tell us why you defied your union and went in?
To talk to him. Make him see some sense. He didn't know I'd come into work, not until dinner time. I waited till dinner time, then I went up to his office. Nobody saw me. All at dinner. It took some doing, I can tell you. And I walked through those gates, they were all standing there shouting scab and black-leg bastard. Somebody spit at me. I spent all night. I didn't get a wink. He'd called me a traitor for wanting him to obey the management. All night it was going through my head. How much I'd hoped and how much I'd been proud of. There's no pride in breaking your back all your life. Well, I had to stop him, didn't I? Somebody had to stop him destroying. I mean, he'd have never got another job, would he? All his studying and 18 years, and sack him as soon as look at him if he'd not done what they wanted. Well, I went up. 1:45, I went up. He was on his own. I said to him, don't do this to me. Don't you kill me. I pleaded with him. I said, what's it all for? What good can it do me or him? He said it's what he had to do. I don't know what he meant. I still don't. Not politics. God in heaven, I mean his life, his whole future he was going to destroy for an idea in his head. Well, I had to stop him, hadn't I? Somehow. You can't let madness win.
Mr. Parker, how long were you with your son?
Yes, but let me finish.
We would like to know how long you spent with your son in that lunch hour.
No need to. I'll tell you what happened.
You've already told us, Mr. Parker, so far.
Yes, but I haven't told you what really happened.
Mr. Parker, will you please tell...
Gillespie, shall we let the witness get on with his evidence by himself?
As your lordship pleases.
Carry on, Mr. Parker.
I left him. And I went down the stairs and stood outside. Everything was quiet. First time I'd heard birds. And I walked along to the mixing shop and I went in. Nobody about as I could see. So I climbed up the ladder and I turned the handle on the pump. It was loose. So I climbed down and threw the handle underneath the machine. And I went out.
Are you saying that you deliberately turned the water off on the Banbury mixing machine?
I am.
Are you fully aware of the seriousness of that statement? Of its consequences to you?
I don't care about me.
No further questions, my lord.
Mr. Parker, I'm sure that the members of the jury will understand and indeed even sympathize with the great dilemma you felt on the day, May the 27th. But I would ask you, nevertheless, to admit that you're not telling the truth. Will you withdraw that statement?
No.
You leave me with no alternative but to press you in the matter. You are now retired from work, I believe.
Yes?
On May the 27th last, you had only 2 months to serve at International Tires, am I right?
The witness must answer.
Yes.
You are on oath, Mr. Parker. You are pledged to tell the truth. Do you understand that?
Yes.
As you have testified, your concern is not with yourself. It's with your son. It's to save your son from conviction in this court. Is that not true?
I said what I said. I stand by every word.
Come now, your evidence is a lie, a complete concoction to save your son at your own expense.
I did it.
Well, perhaps it's not a complete lie. Evidently you went to work on May the 27th because your arrival was so noticed by your workmates, who publicly reviled you for your pains. Probably you did go to your son's laboratory at 1:45 that day. You have, however, admitted failing to persuade your son. But then you left, not to destroy the machine, but either to return to work or to go home.
I went home. I couldn't stand what I'd done.
I suggest you went home, not because you couldn't stand having committed an act of sabotage, but because you'd failed to convince your son.
He didn't do it, I did it.
Your son means everything to you, doesn't he, Mr. Parker?
Look, I did it. Let's have an end now. I did it.
Over 40 years, as you say, straining and sweating over tires. I suggest the only thing that kept you going was the success of your son. Will you admit that?
I admit damaging the Banbury. I did it.
Perhaps your motives are not as admirable as they sound, Mr. Parker. You say your son called you a traitor on May the 26th. Is that not so? Is that so?
Look,
Were you hurt by that remark?
Of course I was hurt.
So perhaps it's not love of your son that you've lied to this court about, but in defense of yourself. Is that not the truth?
Eh?
It wasn't your son you wanted to save, was it? It was his function as a pillar, supporting your own lack of achievement. Is that not right?
I don't know what you mean.
Perhaps you're only concerned with protecting John Parker as the creator of a brilliant and inventive son.
I was warned you could twist anything.
Not twist, Mr. Parker, straighten. Straighten out the evidence so that this jury can bring in a verdict based on the truth. Would you excuse me, my lord?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm obliged to you, my lord. Now, you say your fellow workers were shouting abuse at you on the morning of May the 27th as you went through the factory gates. Is that not correct?
They shouted. And worse words than what I said.
Yes. Your son would know about it, wouldn't he? He'd have found out about the abuse you faced.
I suppose so. I suppose he would.
Yes. I suggest that your son had an added motive for doing what he did. I suggest that he was worried unless you were sent to Coventry. I believe that is the appropriate expression.
I wasn't bothered about that.
No, but your son was. To protect you and, of course, his relations with his mates. He did exactly what you claim to have done. He damaged the band vending machine. Is that not the case?
Say what you like. I did it.
My lord, I fail to see how this witness can answer questions relating to the motive of the defendant.
Yes, Miss Gillespie. Yes, of course, the accused told the witness of his fear. Did he? Did the accused, your son, tell you that he was frightened that you might be punished by your workmates?
No. No. He wasn't bothered about me. It was only me that was bothered about him.
Yes. And so you damaged the band vending machine, did you?
Yes.
Very well. Let us see how you did it. Could he see Exhibit 1, please? Now, Mr. Parker, would you show the court exactly what you claim you did on May the 27th last?
Well, this is off the water pump.
Yes, indeed it is. Will you demonstrate to the court what you did? Yes. Now, that is what you did at 1:15 in the afternoon of May the 27th, is it?
Yes.
Yes. What effect would that have on the Banbury machine?
Well, it'd turn the water off, wouldn't it?
So what you've
Send the temperature up and burn out the machine.
So what you've done is you've turned off the water supply.
Yes.
Well, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Parker, but what you've done is turn the water supply on. You see, a clockwise motion on this valve turns the water supply on, not off. Were you not aware of that, Mr. Parker?
Now, members of the jury, in this case, the accused is charged with the offence of criminal damage. Now, the definition of criminal damage is contained in Section 1, Subsection 1 of the Criminal Damages Act 1971, which provides that a person who without lawful excuse destroys or damages any property belonging to another, or intending to destroy or damage any such property, or being reckless as to whether any such property would be destroyed or damaged, shall be guilty of an offence. Now, there can be no doubt you may think that the Banbury machine was damaged on May the 27th, 1974. The question is, who did it? The accused, the late Mr. Smedley, by accident or design, the accused's father, or maybe someone else. Before you can convict the accused, you must be sure and satisfied that he was the person who turned off the water supply and that he did so intending to damage the Banbury mixing machine or knowing that it might be so damaged. Now, members of the jury, will you kindly retire to consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Alec David Parker, guilty or not guilty on the charge of criminal damage?
Not guilty.
You can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a leading case from the Crown Court.